everybody? It is Frankie here, and welcome to my 2024 NFL Week 8 predictions. Folks, we are almost halfway done with this season. A lot of storylines to get to. First of all, let me just apologize for not doing a video last week, a proper video last week. I was very busy with work and everything, but I got all that behind me. I'm ready to give you a full predictions video. And by the way, if you've been following my picks lately, I've been doing pretty well. So, if you've been maybe make a little bets with some of my picks here, because you might be making some moolah off that. But anyway, I'm here to help you with the picks. Here to give you my insights, or lack thereof, into Week 8 in the NFL season. We start with the Thursday night game, the Minnesota Vikings and the Los Angeles Rams. The Vikings are 3-point favorites. They say nothing ever lasts forever, and that is certainly the case when it comes to the Minnesota Vikings' undefeated season, coming to an end at the hands of the new best team in the NFC, in my opinion, the Detroit Lions. I really thought Minnesota played a good game. Like, all around, I thought it was pretty good. They just, unfortunately, ran up against a better team. But I thought, the offense made a couple big plays in that game. And, I thought Donald looked good. But really, it just, when you have Detroit, when you have the Lions had a nice, the Vikings had a nice fumble recovery later in the game, but we thought maybe that was going to be the clincher, but the Lions went down the field and scored the field goal. But they just ran up against a better team. They were not able to stop the run, and Goff's on a heater right now. So all that led to Detroit's win. Rams, on the other hand, nice win against the Raiders, although I really don't expect much of the Rams here, especially with all the injuries that they have on offense without Kupp and Nakua. But the defense has been pretty impressive here as of late. What a week for Los Angeles, by the way. Thursday, a Thursday night football game, Vikings and Rams. And then the next day, same city, Dodgers and Yankees, game 1 of the World Series. What an epic time to be in LA to watch sports. To be a sports fan in LA right now. Just a lot of things going on. I don't think it's going to be a happy Thursday night in LA. Much like I hope it's not a happy Friday in LA, as I'm rooting for the Yankees desperately to win against the Dodgers there. But in this instance, I'm rolling with Minnesota. I just think, again, I think they're an excellent team. Their defense, which struggled a little bit against the Lions, is going to be motivated to put on an epic performance. I think they will against the Rams, the struggling Rams team. I think that will continue, again, they're winning, but it's not a dominant team, and I think the Vikings are going to exploit any weaknesses that the Rams have. 3-point favorites. I think Minnesota wins this one comfortably. Give me the Vikings -3 over LA. The Philadelphia Eagles and the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals are 2.5-point favorites. You know what the best medicine is for when your team is completely free-falling and it's all in dysfunction and your coach is an idiot? You know what the best medicine is? Take on the Giants. Because that's what the Eagles did, and it worked to perfection, and now the Eagles look fine again. Saquon Barkley, what a dominant return for him. He saw people burning his jersey in the parking lot before the game. Well, then he went into MetLife Stadium and burned the Giants and burned their fans and made John Mara and Joe Shion and Brian Dable, and they made them all feel so stupid for the fact that they let go of this guy. But I'm sure you can enjoy Daniel Jones. I bet you're glad that you have Daniel Jones and whatever productivity he gives your team, instead of Saquon Barkley, this great running back. Now let's keep Daniel Jones. Idiots. But Saquon, 187 total yards, 176 on the run, 176 on the ground, and he looked great in his return against his former team. Jalen Hurts had a good game, and the fact that he didn't turn the ball over, that's 2 straight games for Hurts where he doesn't turn the ball over, so that's a positive sign. We mentioned the Brown touchdown, where I mentioned A.J. Brown looked good again. He had a nice throw by Hurts there. So Hurts finished it with 3 scores. Brown looks dominant. The defense was just all up in Daniel Jones' face. They sacked him 7 times. And the Eagles just looked like this is the Eagles team that you expect. I still think they have problems on the coaching front especially, but this is the Eagles team that you expect to see. And so that was a big performance for them to get back. I know they won the week before, but this is the way to get back into the winning ways. Now they look a little bit better, and now they look like, all right, maybe they can get some positive momentum going here. Cincinnati. Probably should have put Cleveland away earlier, but they still win. They still get it done. Charlie Jones starts the game off with a 100-yard return, and it was really just smooth sailing from there. We had the touchdown from Burrow to Chase. Higgins had a touchdown. He continues to be productive. 75 or more receiving yards in 3 straight games for Higgins. Not the easiest game for Cincinnati. They were 0 for 6 on 3rd down in the first half. It took them until late in the 3rd quarter to put away that Browns team, but they got it done. Their first AFC North win of the year, and their first win in Cleveland since 2017. So now they face off against an Eagles team here that is also coming off a win. And you know what? Maybe it's just stupid for me to say this because I mentioned how poorly coached the Eagles are. And maybe it's rough because the Eagles aren't. But, I'm going to roll with Philadelphia. They got some momentum here. I'm liking what Saquon is. I'm going to say that Hurts doesn't turn the ball over again. And I think it's going to be an interesting matchup. But I think Philadelphia pulls off the win. I think Philadelphia's playing a little bit better right now here, at least if we're judging the last game. So I think the Eagles win this one. Give me the Eagles plus 2.5. It's going to be an interesting matchup over Cincinnati, but I think they pull off the upset and win over the Bengals. The Tennessee Titans and the Detroit Lions. The Lions are 11.5-point favorites. I actually thought about taking Tennessee just because that is a huge, huge spread. But then I thought about it and I said no. Mason Rudolph, just bad performance there. I really don't. There's nothing. The game started off well for Tennessee, and then it just never. They're the definition of, not gonna lie, they had us in the first half. First half, I'm like, oh, they're playing pretty well, and then the offense just sputtered after that. The defense got tired. They let up 27 unanswered points. They've averaged 2 fourth-quarter points this season, entering this week, and then they failed to score at all in the second half against the Bills. So yeah, they're not a great second half team, and now they take on, in my opinion, the best team in the NFC, the Lions. Great win for them. Jared Goff, what a run he is on. 1,000 yards in his last 4 games. 76 for 90. 1,086 yards. 9 TDs. 1 pick. Quarterback rating of 140.8. Gibbs, an incredible day. I thought he was the best player on the field today. 2 touchdowns, including that 1 great juke touchdown. Goff made an excellent throw to St. Brown for a TD there. Branch made a great pick. Bates with a game-winning kick. They were able to overcome a terrible fake punt in the first quarter, but that's Dan Campbell. He's going to do stupid things like, let's just fake punt it here for no reason at all. But, they somehow were able to figure it out. And they did it all without Aiden Hutchinson. That was important there. That was huge. And they still have so many great guys in this defense that they were able to come up and make some big plays in this game. And yes, as I mentioned, Jared Goff, just unbelievable for him. And so I thought about taking Tennessee because that is a huge number. But you know what? I'm going to roll with the best team in the NFC. I'm going to roll with Tennessee is not Minnesota, so I think the Lions will have a little bit easier time putting them away. At home, Detroit's going to be riled up. They're going to be going crazy, and I think they will use that momentum and Goff's momentum as Goff is making himself an MVP candidate. I don't know if he's going to win. I don't think he's even the favorite right now, but he's making himself a viable MVP candidate. That continues. Lions defense steps up in a big way, and the Lions win this one by at least 2 touchdowns. Give me Detroit minus 11.5 to pull off the victory over Detroit. The New York Jets and the New England Patriots. The Jets are 6.5-point favorites. All right. Time to rant here. Time for the local rant. There's a lot of good things going on in New York sports. The football is not one of them. Clearly, it seems like Robert Saleh was not all of the issues that this team had. The defense has gotten so much worse with him. But without, now that he's gone, the defense is so much worse now. And I'm not saying that I thought eventually you had to fire Saleh, but not at this moment, not at this time. Maybe wait a while. Maybe wait until the end of the season. Congratulations, Devontae Adams. You wanted off your 2-5 team so badly. So guess where you're traded to? A team that's now 2-5. Congratulations. At least you got your friends with you. We're so mediocre, but I got my best buds with me. Woo! And you barely did anything. Rodgers had 2 picks. One that was tipped in just a weird fluke kind of play. This Jets team is terrible right now. This defense, which we thought was elite, not at all. And I know they're depleted with injuries in the secondary. But, they made Russ look like vintage Russ there. And the running game of this team is just awful. There's nothing going on. 40 dropbacks to 15 rushes. Run the ball a little bit more. You got Breece Hall there. Try something there. There's just nothing working with this team right now, offensively, defensively. I can't believe this team was at once 2-1. Although, albeit, those wins, they weren't that impressive. I can't remember what the first one was. The second one, though, was against the Patriots. The first one may have been against the Browns or whoever it was. So clearly, nothing impressive here for the Jets, but I'm just shocked at how fast it's fallen. It is a complete train wreck right now in New York, and it's amazing. Even with Rodgers, they're still not going to make the playoffs. We thought for sure this was the time the Jets were finally going to break it, and it didn't happen. It also shows to me that it's another Green Bay Packers quarterback that comes over to the Jets and fails. I'm already calling it. It's a failure, which means I can't wait for in 15 years when the Jets trade for Jordan Love. Jordan Love, who's on his last legs with Green Bay, the 39-year-old Jordan Love. Can't wait for that. It's going to be a great success. I'm taking the Jets to win this game because New England is awful. Drake May is good. The rest of the team sucks. Although I will say, people are already calling for Jared Mayo's job. Yes, he's been bad. but you knew they were going to be bad. It's a rebuilding year. And yes, the defense has been trashed, but we're already thinking about getting rid of him. I mean, I don't know. Give him a little bit more time here. But also, how embarrassing would that be that the guy that replaces Belichick only lasts a year? So you can't do that. But the Patriots have a lot of problems here. And I think that continues in this game. Give me the Jets minus 6.5. If the Jets can't beat this depleted Patriots team, then you might as well just fold up. You might as well not even play for the rest of the year. The Green Bay Packers and the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Packers, 4.5-point favorites. Big win for Green Bay. Jordan Love continues to be Brett Favre reincarnated. He throws a terrible pick to start the game, and then he throws an amazing touchdown to Tucker Kraft, a great touchdown to Wicks. Despite missing 2 games this year, Love is tied for the NFL in both touchdown passes and picks. He's Brett Favre. He's Jordan Favre. It's a fun sight to watch him play out there. He's gonna do stupid mistakes. He's gonna make stupid mistakes, but he's also gonna make great throws. You put up with that. Josh Jacobs got his first receiving touchdown. That was a great moment. The Packers finally have a kicker. Brandon McManus with the game-winning kick. Jumps into Lambeau leap to celebrate. Packers get a nice big win here over Houston. And again, Houston easily could have won that, but not enough. And they were just not able to put Green Bay away. They just had too many problems there. And good wins for Green Bay now. And to beat a pretty good, the Texans are one of the best teams in the AFC. So and that's been the complaint with Green Bay, who they faced. Well, now you've faced a pretty good Houston team who just had their worst performance of the year. So that means something for Green Bay. So a big win for them. And again, good for Josh Jacobs. Good for everybody there for the Packers. Jacksonville, I mean, they win, but they suck. They suck. Doug Peterson is lucky that he won that game because he gets to keep his job. That's all that really matters. Won his last. What his last 2? I mean, it doesn't matter. Yeah, they beat the Patriots, and then they beat. Who cares? Who cares? I forgot who they beat after the Patriots, but yeah, they suck. Even though they beat New England, they still have a lot of issues. They're still not a great team, and I think Green Bay just takes them out for lunch. Green Bay takes them behind a woodshed and just beats them over the head. This should be an easy win for Green Bay because Jacksonville still has a lot of issues. Give me the Packers minus 4.5. The Indianapolis Colts and the Houston Texans. The Texans are 6-point favorites. The classic Anthony Richardson experience today. Didn't play great. Fumbled the ball. Fumbled a handoff. But was able to work around the rust. Get better and better as the game went along. And the Colts get an ugly win against the Dolphins. So, look, he's not great right now. But you got to keep. I know some fans want Flacco out there. But this is about developing the kid. And you can hope that eventually he's going to be able to finally, it takes a little while to get going, but you hope that eventually it's going to be consistent. But, they got the win. It was not a pretty win, but they got the win indeed there for Green Bay. So good job there shutting down Miami, limiting them to 10 points. And his second half, he was Richardson ran the ball more. That's what you got to do. He's got running ability. Have him run the ball more. And he finished with 57 rushing yards, which was much needed in the game. Colts win that. Texans. Worst performance of the year, as we mentioned. Stroud was bad, but to be fair, the Texans have a lot of injuries. They're missing like half the guys on defense, and they're missing one of their top receivers, and the O-line really, really struggled. So that kind of explains why CJ threw for 86 yards with no touchdowns. He was pressured on half of his dropbacks. The offensive line is really gonna just torch this kid. They gotta fix the offensive line. If they want to compete going forward, they gotta fix the offensive line in the offseason. And yes, on 3rd and 15, why are you calling a 10-yard out? It just seemed like you were just asking Green Bay to get back in the game, and they did. But Houston's going to be at home in this case. Indianapolis is not Green Bay. Houston is a much better offense, and hopefully there'll be some guys that come back. And I think the Texans win this one by at least 2 touchdowns over a struggling Indianapolis team. So give me the Texans minus 6 to bounce back in a big way over the Colts. The Buffalo Bills and the Seattle Seahawks. The Bills are 3-point favorites. Amari Cooper, welcome to the Buffalo Bills. 4 catches, 5 targets, 66 receiving yards, and a touchdown. So, obviously, helps them out huge, humongous to be able to get Amari Cooper back on your team. Or have Amari Cooper there on your team. Just great. It's not like Josh Allen needs more weapons. He's already a damn good quarterback without weapons, but add Cooper there, it's going to certainly help them out a lot. Hopefully the offense can move forward there. Josh Allen, by the way, no picks. We've killed this guy for being a turnover machine in the past. No picks so far. And we're about to enter week 8. Damn good job out of him. Got a touchdown from Cook in this game. The Bills struggled in the first half. It was early on, it was like, oh God, it's going to be one of those kind of games. But they ended up playing really strong and ended up just crushing the Titans 34-10. Just first 2 quarters, nothing really gets going. And then they scored on 5 straight drives. Allen went 6 for 18 with 114 yards and a touchdown on passes 10 or more yards in the second half. He was 1 of 5 on such passes in the first half. So the Bills really turned it around there. And then Seattle just dominated Atlanta. Great game for Kenneth Walker, who was sick with the flu or whatever. No problem. He was Jordan with the flu today. 2 touchdowns for him, including 1 touchdown that was over the shoulder. Geno made a great throw on a touchdown to Metcalf. They had the strip sack touchdown. Seattle's defense, probably the best all-around performance we've seen from the Seahawks all season long. Just great in terms of offense, in terms of defense. And, they've had a lot of injuries in the past few weeks, but in this game, they looked fantastic. 3 takeaways against Atlanta, including the strip sack that we mentioned. And the offensive line, I thought, with a little bit of a patchwork there, down to its 4th option at right tackle, and yet they still performed admirably against Atlanta there. So now, I thought about taking Seattle here, home field advantage and everything, but you know what? The Bills are just playing better right now. It's Allen or Lamar right now for MVP for me. Mahomes is still the favorite in Vegas, which I can't understand why, but to me, it's either Allen or Lamar. Those are the 2 best quarterbacks right now playing in the league, and I think in this case, the Bills and their offense will step up against Seattle. That should be fun. A Bills offense that, now with Amari Cooper and everything, and Seattle's defense, which is looking a lot better. Should be an interesting matchup. I think Buffalo gets the win, though. On the road, they pull off the win. Give me the Bills -3 over the Seahawks. Panthers versus Broncos. The Broncos are 7.5-point favorites. I mean, what do you want me to say about this? Carolina, I guess you got to put Bryce Young back in there. You got to see. You can't just let him be the worst bust ever. You got to see if maybe you hope that he's improved. Learning under Andy Dalton, you hope. I'm rooting for the kid, but yeah, I that's all you really got. They just got destroyed by Washington. Denver, big time performance against New Orleans. Still not a great team. I still feel like they're a year or 2 away, but they've been playing better. And Bo Nix, solid outing there against a bad Saints team that was that was the end of their season for them on Thursday. But 6 straight possessions that Nix scored with the Broncos there with. Great game for Kobe Barton. Sack, forced fumble, and returned another Saints fumble, 52 yards for a touchdown. Just an all-around dominant performance there in the Superdome against the Saints. And 225 rushing yards for Denver, too, in that game. Just an excellent all-around performance. I guess I'll take Denver. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is. Bo Nix is, again, looking really solid. And 2nd consecutive game for Nix, by the way, against the Saints, where he had at least 61 rushing yards. Throw a little bit, run a little bit. Look at what I'm seeing from him. I think that continues in this game at home. Give me the Broncos -7.5. The Kansas City Chiefs and the Las Vegas Raiders. The Chiefs are 9.5-point favorites. If you're a football fan, if you're a Chiefs hater, how angry are you? Mahomes is not really playing great. He has more interceptions than touchdowns. He threw 2 again on Sunday. Although, to be fair, I think one was because the receiver, fell, and the other was just a tip ball. The offense is not what it was. I know you have Kareem Hunt, but it's not a lot of great receivers out there. Kelsey's old. They've been very unimpressive on offense, and yet they're 6-0. They're the last undefeated team. Go figure. Mahomes, all right, fine. He can't throw really. He's not throwing the ball like he used to. All right, he'll just truck someone over for a touchdown. It's really is. It's just kind of crazy. It's crazy to think about. It's the Patriots all over again. This team is just gliding through. They're not even playing 80% of what they are, and it doesn't matter. We're 6-0. We're just fine. We are just okay. No problem. And they're just on. They're just on one right now. Imagine it when they eventually turn it up for the postseason. Imagine how good they'll be there. Also, shout out to Hardman, who made a couple big plays, runs of 20 and 18 yards, the latter of which was a touchdown. And also big for the Chiefs because they've been so bad with scoring in the red zone. Not in this game, though, as we had a touchdown from Hunt, a touchdown from Hardman, and a touchdown from Mahomes, all in the red zone. Great win for them. Raiders just, I don't know who you're. I guess you're going to stick with Gardner Minshew here, but boy, you don't feel good about that. 3 INTs and a lost fumble. I'm taking the Raiders. This is a dumb pick, taking the Raiders +9.5. But you know what? It's a divisional matchup. And we talked about Kansas City's just gliding their way through. So I can see Kansas City just kind of just coasting on this one and letting the Raiders get back in this game late. So give me the Raiders +9.5. But I do expect the Chiefs to go to 7-0. I thought the Chiefs would lose to the Niners. Not the time for the Niners to lose yet. Or not the time for the Chiefs to lose yet. And I don't think it's going to happen this week either. Give me the Raiders plus 9.5. But I expect the Chiefs to win. The Bears and the Commanders. The Bears are a 1.5 favorite. Bears coming off a bye. They just destroyed Jacksonville. Caleb Williams continues to be the strong favorite for, although he and J.D. Daniels, it's going to be an epic battle to see who gets Rookie of the Year as long as Daniels is healthy. But big game for Caleb against the Jaguars. That's who they played in London, I'm now remembering. 4 touchdowns by Caleb there. And yeah, he just looked so electrifying. The offense was so smooth. Williams already looks like he's like a veteran leadership, it seems like. The way his command and everything, his poise. He looks great. I'm so impressed with him. Washington. Now, good news and bad news. You destroyed Carolina. Bad news without Daniels for the most part. Daniels, it looks like, has a rib injury, although his mom, and I trust his mom's judgment. I trust any mom's judgment for the most part. His mom said that he's fine. So I expect that he'll be back next week. I don't think it's that serious. I guess that's why the line is Commanders are the underdogs, because we're not sure about whether or not Daniels is going to play. I think he's going to play, and if he plays, I think they'll win, because I think the Commanders are a little bit better of a team right now. But props to Marcus Mariota, who comes in off the bench and was just awesome. 18 for 23, 205 yards, 2 touchdowns, and really just kept the Commanders' offense clicking when there was a chance there they could have fallen apart, but that was not the case in this game. The defense dominated as well. And yes, I know it's Andy Dalton in Carolina, but they had the pick 6. They held Carolina to 0 points in the first 3 quarters. And yes, the Mariota was definitely a huge surprise to see him perform that well. So in this game, I think Daniels is back. The idea of Daniels versus Caleb Williams, that sounds like it's a lot of fun. That sounds like it could be a really, really great plot storyline there. Let's hope Daniels is out there, because I'd love to see these two go at it. In the end, I expect the Commanders to win this one. I expect Daniels is going to be out there, and if he's out there, I think they win, because the Washington offense is just playing a little bit better right now than Chicago's offense, and I also expect Washington at home. We're going to give Washington a home field advantage, because their home field advantage has been so terrible as of late. But not anymore. Washington's winning now. It's all good. Commanders, I think, at home. Get the win. Get the edge. Give me the Commanders plus 1.5 over the Bears. And that line is not going to be the same. As soon as we find out about Daniels and if he's going to play, that line is going to change. So if you can get Commanders plus 1.5 now, get it. The Dallas Cowboys and the San Francisco 49ers. The Niners are 5.5-point favorites. These are two teams that are coming off awful losses. Dallas, at least, is coming off a bye. But talk about just getting absolute gut punch of a loss. You lose 47-9 at home. Completely uncompetitive. Dak looked bad. Jerry Jones looked like he was going to pass out there. The defense was just manhandled all game. I mentioned Dak throwing the interception. Zach Martin was beaten repeatedly. CeeDee Lamb didn't do anything. Diggs struggled. There was just nothing right. It was the worst performance I think I've ever seen from the Cowboys, and that is saying something. That is saying something. That was the largest home defeat since Jerry Jones took over, which is crazy to think about. Just awful in every way. Niners, and I couldn't have been happier to say it. Niners, on the other hand, terrible as well. Purdy. I've been a defender of Purdy as of late. That looked like old Purdy. That looked like the Purdy that I was doubting. I'm not ready to go back on him, but that was a tough outing. 3 picks and some just horrendous picks. And Brady was killing him in the telecast. Brady was killing him about some of the throws he was making. The interception in the end zone, the interception where there was like nobody there and he threw it to him, and just so many. And yes, I know that he's got like 3 receivers out. I mean, look at who the Niners are missing. They're missing Greenwald. They're missing McCaffrey. They're missing Hargrove. They're missing Jennings. Now they just lost Ayak. Samuels was out for the game. Ayak's probably going to be out for the rest of the year now. I think he's going to torn ACL. So I understand it's difficult, but I expected more from him in this game, and he just made too many terrible mistakes. Niners get just destroyed by the Chiefs. It's I guess not destroyed. It was a closer game than it was an 8-point game, but it just felt like they were never in the game. They were very uncompetitive. Mahomes and Purdy combined for 0 touchdowns and 5 picks, and this is what we were all looking forward to. I thought this was going to be I thought this should have been the primetime game. Clearly not, because this was just terrible performance. I mean, Lions Vikings, that was the game of the week. That was sensational stuff. But Chiefs Niners, no. I imagine San Francisco is going to turn it around. They're not. They're a great team. I still expect it, despite all the injuries. And they're going up against Dallas, who is just a fraud of a team. So I expect if the Niners don't bounce back this week, then we have issues. Can you believe the Niners are 3-4? The Cowboys, that's not fair. The Niners, this team, I know they have injuries, but they're 3-4. Oof. And boy, yesterday I did not fill you with any hope. You're just thinking, my gosh, can we ever beat Kansas City? Are we ever going to beat the Chiefs? It's kind of like how Guardians fans feel about the Yankees. Are we ever going to beat them? Nope. But for San Francisco fans, you're hoping that eventually that time comes, and it just hasn't come yet. Give me the Niners minus 5.5. At least you'll beat the Cowboys. That seems like something you'll be accustomed to doing. The New York Giants and the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers are 4.5-point favorites. I don't know if I have anything much else to add about the Giants except that Joe Sheehan and Brian Dable. The GM, whatever his name is, Joe Skioin, whatever the GM's name is, Joe Scowen and Brian Dable, they all need to go. Dable is, I'm convinced now, terrible coach. Scowen, I don't know how the hell he was tricked into that. John Mara said, if Barkley goes to the Eagles, I'm going to have trouble sleeping at night. John Mara is an insomniac right now because you've made this man have to deal with the fact that Saquon Barkley's on the Eagles because you had to have Daniel Jones. They just Barkley ran all over the Giants. They got blown out at home again. Daniel Jones hasn't scored a touchdown at home since the Carter administration. He got pulled in the fourth quarter, but Dable will still say, Daniel Jones is my guy. They have 1 touchdown in 4 home games this year. Stop going to Giants games, folks. You deserve better. What an absolute effing disgrace. The running backs have nothing. Oh, boy, we could have really used a running back here. If only we had one on our roster. 3 carries for 4 yards in the first half. What a job. The defense just couldn't stop the Eagles at all. Just embarrassing. Embarrassing. The New York football season already over, and it's not even Halloween yet. Steelers, on the other hand. Credit to Russ Wilson. Credit to Mike Tomlin. That was a gutsy move. I didn't agree with it. I understood it. I didn't agree with it. Early on in this game, it didn't look good. But boy, Russ eventually figured out his way. He threw for 264 yards, a couple touchdowns. Looked much better. He looked much more in poise, in control, in command. It was a gutsy move by Tomlin, and it worked off. It paid off. And, it looks like now it's going to be Russ's team. And you hope this. But he also knows that if he struggles at any point, he's going to have Fields waiting for him behind him. But that was a great win for the Pittsburgh. Great seeing Russ out there. Almost kind of looked like vintage Russ. That was a delight to see. And because I'm a Russ fan, I like him. And I just hated seeing how the last few years have gone for him. So that was a cool moment for him. Also, Beanie Bishop with 2 picks in this game. The blocked kicks were huge. Like the Steelers really on in this game. It looked like it was going to be a Jets game early on. And then the Steelers just ran over the Jets in the second half and just embarrassed them. I think they will embarrass another New York team here. We're getting another Giants game on Monday Night Football? Does ESPN, does the NFL hate us that we have to watch the Jets and Giants like every Monday night, every Sunday night? They're torturing us here. We don't want to watch it. No one wants to watch it. Stop forcing us to watch the Giants. Give me the Steelers minus 4.5 to just kill those bastards in New York. Oh, God, what terrible. That's it for now, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, like to see, make sure you subscribe down below. I'll be back tomorrow with predictions for Ravens, Browns, Cardinals, Dolphins, Falcons, Bucks, Saints, Chargers. I'm not picking any of those games right now because I want to wait for how the Monday night games play out, and then I'm going to get my picks for those games. See you guys tomorrow for those picks, and also check out Frankie Baseball as we are getting ready to cover the World Series. The Yankees and the Dodgers in the freaking World Series. First Yankees World Series in 15 years. We will cover it. We'll have some videos about it. It's a very exciting time. Can't wait to talk about it. See you guys then. Take care, and God bless.